Here is a rear-wheel drive V8 sedan with over 300 wheel horsepower, a fully compatible LS engine that the entire aftermarket already supports, for real doors, and a price tag sitting around $10,000 on a good day. And almost nobody is talking about it. That is the Pontiac G8 GT. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly what it costs to buy one, what it costs to own one, what $2,000 in mods actually does on a dyno, and whether it is genuinely the best performance bargain under 12 grand right now. Let's get into it. First, a little context, because if you didn't live through 2008, you might not know this car exists. GM was in trouble. The Pontiac brand was on borrowed time. But before the lights went out, engineers and product planners did something genuinely interesting. They went to Australia, grabbed the Holden Commodore VE, gave it some American trim levels, and dropped it on US shores as the G8. Two engine choices, a 3.6-liter V6 in the base model, and for the GT, a 6.0-liter LS3 V8, pushing 361 horsepower and 385 pound-feet of torque at the crank. There was also a GXB with the full LS3 6.2-liter at 415 horsepower, but those are rare and the price reflects it. We are focused on the GT today because that is where the value lives. So what does 361 crank horsepower feel like at the wheels? We strapped a clean, bone-stock 2009 G8 GT automatic to the Mustang dyno. No tune changes, factory air box, factory exhaust. The number, 308 wheel horsepower and 336 pound-feet of wheel torque. That is a drivetrain loss of about 15%, which is totally normal for this platform. And 308 wheel horsepower in a car that weighs under 4,000 pounds is not a joke. To put that in perspective, a base Mustang GT from the same year makes almost identical wheel numbers. Except the Mustang has 2 doors. The G8 has 4. Now let's talk about what you actually pay. Based on Haggard evaluation data and recent cars and bids auction results, a clean, mid-mileage G8 GT, we're talking 90,000 to 120,000 miles, no accidents, good service history, is trading between $9,500 and $11,500 on the private market right now. Manual transmission cars carry a 10 to 15% premium because there just aren't many of them. If you're flexible on the auto, you can find genuinely excellent examples at the low end of that range. That is the entry point. Ownership costs. This is where we never flinch on this channel. Insurance for a 30-year-old driver in a mid-tier zip code is running about $140 to $180 per month, depending on your history. Fuel economy is EPA rated at 14 city, 21 highway. In real mixed driving, expect somewhere between 16 and 18 miles per gallon if you keep your right foot honest, and honesty is hard with this car. Front and rear brake replacement, pads and rotors, lands between $350 and $500 in parts at retail. And here is a useful fact. The G8 shares suspension and some brake geometry with the 5th-generation Camaro, which means parts availability is solid and will remain solid for a long time. This is not an orphan in the parts department, even though Pontiac is gone. Here is the thing that makes the G8 GT genuinely special from a build perspective. That L76 V8 is an LS family engine. Same architecture as the LS1, the LS2, the LS3, the L99. The entire massive aftermarket catalog, camshafts, cylinder heads, intakes, long tube headers, supercharger kits, all of it fits. You are not hunting for obscure parts. You are shopping at the same places every LS builder has shopped for 25 years. So we put $2,000 of targeted modifications on our test car. Here is exactly where the money went. A cold air intake from a reputable LS supplier, $280. A set of long tube headers with high flow cats, mid-pipe, and axle back exhaust, $1,100 installed by our shop partner. And a conservative tune via HP tuners on 93-octane pump gas, for $150 for the tune file and the labor. That is $1,830 all in, and we rounded up to $2,000 to account for any shop surprises. And there were a couple of small ones, as there always are. Back on the Mustang dyno after the build. Wheel horsepower, 354. Wheel torque, 381 pound-feet. That is a gain of 46 wheel horsepower and 45 pound-feet of torque from a $2,000 parts list on a pump gas street tune. The power curve is noticeably broader from 3,500 revolutions per minute all the way to redline. The headers and tune together account for most of that gain, about 24 wheel horsepower of it. The intake alone added 10 on this specific pull. These are real numbers from a real dyno sheet, not marketing estimates. Now 354 wheel horsepower in a near 4,000 pound rear-wheel drive sedan with an LS engine and a four-door body is a genuinely absurd value proposition. For comparison, a used Mustang GT with similar mods at similar mileage will cost you more. A Camaro SS of the same era will cost you more. A used CTSV, which shares some DNA, will cost you significantly more. The G8 GT sits in this quiet pocket where the badge is gone, the brand is gone, and the price never got the hype premium that kept it artificially inflated. There are two legitimate concerns worth addressing honestly. Number 1, interior parts. Because Pontiac is defunct, some interior trim pieces are getting genuinely hard to find. Exterior body panels are similarly limited. If you are buying one, inspect the interior carefully and factor in that a cracked dash pad or a broken trim piece might require sourcing from a salvage yard or going without. Number 2, this is not a lightweight car. At 3,912 pounds, you are not going to autocross it into oblivion without feeling the mass. It is a fast, confident cruiser and a strong dragstrip performer. It is not a scalpel on a tight course. But for what it is, a rear-wheel drive, V8, powered four-door performance sedan with full LS aftermarket support at $10,000, it is almost unreasonably good. If you want the GXB for the LS3, budget $16,000 to $20,000 and be patient, because they are rare. But the GT at current prices is where the value story lives right now. And that window will not stay open forever as these cars continue to age and attrition reduces the clean examples. If you are seriously considering one, here is your buying checklist. Get a pre-purchase inspection with a lift, check rear, differential fluid condition. Look for rust on the Australian spec undercarriage because it was not always treated for North American winters, and confirm the transmission fluid has been serviced within the last 40,000 miles. Do those 4 things, and you will avoid the bad ones. If this video saved you from a bad decision or pointed you toward a good one, the subscribe button is right there, and it costs you nothing. We will have the full dyno sheet and the itemized parts list linked in the description. Next video we are running numbers on something completely different, so stay tuned.